Okay. Um, Sorry, I switched over to that other browser, so just kind of getting the hang of it. I gotta redo all my shit. do 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 do. You think that's poured magma there? I don't know, man. Even if it's like, did you see the pyramid story today? I mean, I can't stop thinking about it. Um, I tweeted this, but I always say like those, oh, it's a distraction MFs drive me nuts. But but this it might actually apply to this situation. Um those JFK files, I think, is the distraction, right? I don't think he knew about the fucking pyramid shit, but I think he was getting a lot of heat from the MAGA faithful about it being so cucked to Israel. Um, so he puts those JFK files out and, you know, fucking tamps down on some of that. That's an appropriate context to, you know, talk about a distraction. Not, like fucking 80 years of like thousands of UFO reports every year. That's not a distraction. A distraction is like a strategic release. It's like when they put the fucking, news out on Friday afternoon or whatever. That's that's I think legit. Um hmm. The JFK stuff, yeah, I'm just gonna wait for other people I trust to read it, and then mm, cause it's just I already saw fucking morons running with dumb shit. Like, okay, I saw like multiple people sharing this screenshot of one of the documents. It must have been one of like the first couple pages that it was like talking about an issue of Ramparts magazine from the fucking 60s that or maybe it was the early 70s. But like talking about stories that Ramparts printed back in the day, when it's like that's not new information, right? Researchers have known what Ramparts magazine printed the whole time. No one ever didn't know what Ramparts magazine was printing. That's not government confirmation. The fact that like somebody who worked for the government clipped the Ramparts, or no, it wasn't even that they clipped it. It's that they summarized the article for some sort of memorandum or some sort of briefing, right? Um, that's not confirmation that the CIA killed JFK or whatever the fuck these idiots were saying. Um, it's like how Aaron talks about like conspiracy theorists versus conspiracists, you know? Like all these hog conspiracists versus, genuine, like, disciplined, conspiracy theory researchers. Um, so yeah, that's going to be annoying. Um, but I mean, I think only good will come of it. It's like I've always said. I think, you know, like knowing what I know about how the powers that be have treated communism or, even mild social democracy, seeing the way that they react tells me, oh, wait, so that's obviously the correct answer. If they hate it so much, there's a reason why they hate it so much, and it's not, the goodness of their heart, right? Like, if they were so maniacal, fucking so driven, it's like the Democrats versus Bernie and the Democrats versus Trump, It's like you see the way they respond to fascism and the way they respond to communism. That should tell you all you need to know. Maybe not all you need to know about politics, but it's a good head start to understand that the ruling class's opinion with regards to communism. Um, so, Hogg's reading all these reports that are all about, it's not just JFK, it's all like, that whole era, like interrelated with, regime changes and, the Monroe Doctrine and all that. Um, just if thousands of hogs read these documents, I feel like that'll be good. You know, just if they knew what we knew, I feel like at least some of them would be much more interested in communism. You know, yeah, there's like 13,000 pages in it. I saw. Yeah, I was trying to get DeepSeek to summarize it for me, and it couldn't do it somehow. Um, ChatGPT could though, so I don't know. It's probably the DDoS attack. Um, but yeah, it looks like there's all the documents are in there. Um, or a lot of them are. Like I know I didn't look at too many of them, but I saw people posting about it, and there was definitely I saw someone show the side by side with a previously released redacted document and then today's edition. So there's definitely unredacted stuff that's out there now, which, you know, again, nothing new for us. We've known this. I've known in my heart of hearts that they killed him for a fucking, long time now. Um, so nothing new for us, but it's nice to get confirmation, you know. Um, And of course, that's the distraction aspect of it that Trump puts out fucking 13,000 pages of documents that are not searchable. Like I saw John Greenwald complaining about it. Like they're not indexed or searchable or anything. You know. So people are gonna have to like go through that, one page at a time. Um the documents confirm what? Don't talk about LBJ. That's a red herring. That's not an appropriate conversation. I would say he was at best complicit, Um, he was definitely not like a planner, like he wasn't involved with it, I think they told him shit was going down, are you going to cause any problems? And he was like, oh no, not me, you know? But I don't think I think this was the intelligence agencies proving who wears the pants in this country, Um, that's what I think it was. Right? I mean, I didn't read them all yet, but you um, I mean, like I've talked about this before. It was already confirmed. It was already documents were already released a few years ago that showed that the CIA was keeping track on Oswald's mom from 1959 onwards. So, you know, they released the fact that the defector program existed, right? So that's been publicly documented in the last couple of years. The defector program, which again, if you look at Oswald's movements, I think I don't know how you could dispute that he was in that defector program, right? So that was recently revealed, and the fact that they were monitoring his mom and checking her trash from 1959 onwards. Um, oh, and that he also knew what else was in there too was his 6 month review file or his quarterly reviews or bi-yearly reviews. Um, that it didn't say, CIA agent Oswald. It was just in the same format as all the other people who were known documented CIA agents. So yeah, he was definitely an intelligence asset at the very least, and I think more professional. I think he was legitimately. I think he got a paycheck from Langley or whatever. Um, Look up the Jefferson Morley. I think it's JFK facts. Let me think. Um, the two good JFK sites are. Um, this one, Jefferson Morley's, and Kennedy's and King, which is Jim DiEugenio's page. Yeah, so he hasn't even posted about it yet. What were we looking at though? TV dinners and used condoms. Yeah. Um, Before JFK's death, the CIA compiled a 181-page dossier on Lee Harvey Oswald. See what I mean? Stuff like this. See, this is from November 21st. This was already publicly acknowledged, right? Um, Here, we can read this, hopefully. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Are you gonna read? Come on. There we go.
As part of his closing case to voters in the 2024 presidential campaign, candidate Donald Trump promised to release the last of the secret JFK assassination files, telling Joe Rogan on a show viewed 51 million times, "I'm going to do it immediately,
Yeah.
almost immediately, upon entering office." With leaders of the U.S. intelligence community now ferociously criticizing Trump's nominees for top intelligence posts, the president-elect is set for clash with CIA over JFK's secret files. The disposition of the JFK files, now set...
No, the Kennedy Center is the disrespectful thing, I think, right? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, not the Space Center. Kennedy was into that. The Kennedy Center, where the fucking um, you know, um, fuck, what's the connection there again? I think it's something to do with the regime change. I forget the specifics though. That's like an inside joke, like an inside sick joke, you know.
Before JFK's death, the CIA compiled a 181-page dossier on Lee Harvey Oswald. The disposition of the JFK files, now set by President Joe Biden's June
Since
2023
childhood?
memo, will be determined by Trump, who could rescind and replace Biden's order when he takes office in
Yeah,
January.
I mean, did they need to groom him from childhood? I heard they recruited him out of high school, right? Which I think that would have been sufficient. I don't think he took a whole lot of coaxing, you know.
Trump aides recently told the New York Times the president-elect plans a series of executive orders on day one. 2 years ago, Trump raised expectations that the files would yield sensational revelations about President John F. Kennedy's murder in Dallas on November 22nd, 1963. "If they showed you what they showed me," Trump told Andrew Napolitano, "you wouldn't have released it either." Likewise, Tucker Carlson claimed in December 2022 that a high-level source with access to the files told him the unseen material implicated the CIA.
Yeah, I would buy that idea that okay. I mean, I would buy the idea that they do kind of casually reveal some of these details, like when they first meet with like Langley, and they're you know they say something like, oh well, of course, yeah, we had to take out Kennedy because he was soft on communism or something. They'll say it matter of factly, in some way that's like threatening, but not really, like, not overtly. I would definitely believe that. So I unlike when he talks about UFOs, I think he's 100% honest here. this part. If they showed you what they showed me, I think that's true. Um, Probably one of them told Tucker, or he told Tucker, or whatever. But I do not believe him when he talks about UFOs. I don't think he knows anything.
But Trump downplayed such claims on Rogan's podcast, saying, I can't tell you whether or not they're going to find anything of interest.
Hmm.
According to the National Archives,
I mean,
there are 3,000.
if you listen to Sheehan talk about it, that's in the mix, right? But the main reason, the reason that, like, I'm sure, I don't know. Maybe we'll see a document that's in there, but I think what Sheehan says, that those guys, they rationalized it to themselves by saying that he was going to dismantle our nuclear weapons because he was doing disarmament with Khrushchev, right? That was what the story. That's what they told themselves. That's how they rationalized it. Um, that sounds right, right? I think basically they thought he was too soft on communism, or like, not. He was not as exuberant about regime change as they were, right? Like, he was definitely, he wanted to do neo-imperialism, and the dullest Nazi faction, they wanted to do a little bit, a little bit more traditional imperialism, sort of like Trump versus Biden, right? Like, that was the context. Like, Trump is okay, like, shaking his fist and threatening countries, and Biden is like, come on, Jack, you know, like, like, I think Biden is, you know, thinks he's doing soft power, but really he's just like bribing the ruling class of whatever client state. I think that was the distinction. I think, like, that was, a part of our plan after the war was to get, to, like, break up all these European empires so we could take the shit, right? But we pitched it as, oh, this is fucking liberation. We're gonna free the third world, right? But really, it was, we're going to, like, fucking get them in sweetheart deals to take their resources at below market rate, and we're gonna, like, pitch that as us liberating them.
According to the National Archives, there are 3,648 assassination related records in the government's possession that still contain redactions, that is to say, blanked out passages. Lee Harvey Oswald after his arrest for killing JFK, a crime that he denied committing. Keep reading with a 7-day free trial. Subscribe to JFK.
Damn, didn't even get to the good part. Marine. Yeah, Rob Reiner, piece of shit. Yeah, I would immediately distrust anybody who says that anybody but the CIA killed him. I think that should put up red flags. The person is either a liar or a dumbass. You know, like, at this late date, there's no other explanations. Like, people who try to talk about the mafia or whatever, that's, look, the concept of the mafia was always a ruse. That was always put out there. The idea of, like, Italian organized crime. I don't know if that was ever really a thing, but they were certainly not in charge. Like, it was Meyer Lansky's crew who built Vegas. It was Meyer Lansky's crew who did all the fucking import export drugs. They were the ones who were working with the CIA or the OSS during the war. And they, the whole idea of the Italian mob was always, like, memorialized and, glamorized in Hollywood, um, to throw people off the scent. Sort of like a limited hangout, right? Um, you Organized crime fills that role, but just not the organized criminals that you think of. It doesn't look the way you think it looks. And it's like they even reference that in The Godfather with what's his face, um, whatever, the old Jewish guy. Um, yeah, I mean, like, they probably don't need Vegas anymore. Vegas used to be where all the money laundering was. Now they just fucking do crypto, right? Um, They don't need that shit at all. Smoking guns. I don't know. I haven't read them yet, but here. It looks like it's all there though. I mean, it definitely appears to have. There's definitely new stuff in there. I mean, I'm not, Northwoods. I don't really trust Greenwald either, but um, oh, that's all JFK here. Okay, parent directory. Okay, I see. Yeah. In the next few days, this will be indexed. It's really hard to look at now. It's all shit like this. Captured Gestapo docs. He joined German CP on May 32nd. What? Own lending library. Yeah, see. That's what I mean. That's what I'm just gonna wait for somebody else to go through all this shit and fucking, we'll hear their takeaway. 'Cause, like, I don't have any question. Like, I know what happened. Like, I don't. I have, yeah, Hyman Roth. That's it. What's up? What's up, Cushy? Um, I, you know, um, Government protection, as you know, it's our responsibility. Running the Warren Commission, produce discussions and testimony on various aspects of the problem, which normally do not find their way into the public domain. These include acquisition, dissemination, blah, blah, blah. Interested in the attached extracts of testimony given before the Warren Commission by U.S. intelligence and security officials. Pertinent portions have been sidelined. I commend these materials for reading by all officers in positions of senior responsibility in headquarters and overseas. Yeah, like I already saw people sharing comparison. Like there's, documents that were previously redacted or no longer redacted, right? So there's that. So there's definitely new information in here or confirmation of other previously existing information. It's just, I mean, you could probably, there's whole dissertations in here just in the like extraneous material, right? Because it goes all the documents that are classified in here is that whole time period of the sort of immediate aftermath, the like the kind of reign of terror the CIA did in the 60s. Is I wonder, like, there might be shit about like Lumumba and stuff in here. Let's see if we can find a big one. 1.9, 8.6 megabytes. Do not reproduce, return to CIA. System 201. Method for identifying a person of specific interest. Means for identifying subjects of 201 files. God, I fucking hate these people. Especially after last night, with all that money they spent on those underground bases, all the nice shit they have down there. Um, it's like a 1-2 punch. This one we just looked at. 201 system. There's probably some like continuity of government stuff in here too. Mr. Joseph Murphy. Intentions called a covert security approval does not constitute complete compliance with the provisions. Mm, Subject's brother Bartholomew. Subject's military file. He's a first officer in the Far East under Project Bilka. This might be the defector program stuff here. Um, Douglas Freeman, Michael Malone. What's this? I mean, there's people who know what this means, I'm sure. You know, they have no clue. John F. Rittenhouse, Bernard Chumley. The U-2 spy plane stuff. Yeah, Atsugi. Yeah, just the fact that he was at Atsugi should tell you a whole, like, you should, you know, like, if they can't explain that some other way, I think that should, you know, not gonna tell you all you need to know, but that's a huge red flag. Was, you know, like, was he a high school dropout or whatever? Like, was stationed at their CIA, like, they're one of the most sensitive bases in the world. 5-star cover in Louisiana division. Yeah, like, I mean, I could do this all night. Like, you know. Let's see if we can find one interesting file first. Okay. June 72, we're at some length with Leroy Gordon Cooper. Gordon Cooper and Associates. Gordon Cooper. Mm, It's fucking David Lynch's character in Twin Peaks. um, no, it's not. Sorry. That's Gordon Cooper. Why am I thinking that? Hmm. Cooper is Dale Cooper. It, um, Lynch's what's Lynch's character's name? The law report. Departure for New York to handle the preliminary debriefing. Blah, blah, blah. Hmm. Hey, Coop. Yeah. No, I saw people posting Angleton stuff already. Yeah, that's why I was saying what I said about there being real shit in here. No, like, people confirmed there was a what the fuck document did I see? Somebody had one that confirmed that Angleton was running some guy. Um, People had said that guy's an asset for the CIA, and I think there was I saw somebody had posted demonstrating like an agency relationship between Angleton and the guy. Um, so that's like some of the most sensitive stuff in there because Gordon Cole. Okay, so I combined Dale Cooper and Gordon Cole. um, United States China Friendship Association Study Group. Yeah, not that kind of friendship. This is like the fucking, you know, Shanghai Shek's people afterwards, right? The manager of the China bookstore finally broke down on her M7's campaign and put her in touch with the local USCFA study group under the leadership of Mrs. Susan Warren, aka Frank. Hmm. Uh, the direct order from China. Yeah. That's like, there's going to be documents in here that allege stuff like that, right? But you have to see, like, you know, like dumbasses are not capable of like this, like decoding this stuff. Like I just was talking about earlier. Like they have all kinds of like briefings. Well, they'll have like notes where, like I said, at Ramparts magazine, it was people were passing around this summary of a Ramparts magazine article and acting like that confirms something when it's like, no, fucking dumbass. Like, that confirms nothing. The fact that the CIA was like keeping track of like shit that Ramparts magazine published in the 60s is really not that interesting. Like Ramparts magazine was like, I don't even know if there is an equivalent now, but it was a big deal back in the day. It was like, counterculture, like, I don't want to call it hippie because it wasn't hippie. It was sort of revolutionary, sort of. Original typewritten letter in an envelope addressed American embassy in Stockholm were examined in order to determine the origins of the letter and the nationality of the writer. Well, see, this whole report is about like decoding fucking font to see if it's a typewriter they thought it was. Oh, but so there'll be stuff in here like this, right? That is, them documenting a source. Like somebody was interviewed somewhere who said, "I know who killed Kennedy. It was China." Right? They'll make a memo about that and they'll put it in the file and it'll stay, it'll get put in the files. That doesn't mean it's, valid, or doesn't mean it has any truth to it, right? That's what I'm saying. So like they already are starting it. They are already trying to take bits and tidbits of shit and run off with it. I mean, fucking Castro figured it all out right away and fucking went on the radio the next day and said basically what happened. And I think he was basically right, I think part of the reason why they didn't proceed with their false flag plans, like they were going to use Oswald being a Cuba friendly communist as a pretense to invade. But I think because it botched the operation, and I think because Castro and so many others knew right away who was responsible for this, they backed off of the Cuba invasion. Because they were going to say, oh, we got to invade Cuba because they were fucking harboring. Well, maybe that was the plan. Maybe they were going to send Oswald to Cuba or something and be like, oh, they're harboring Oswald in Cuba, originally. Because I don't think, it doesn't really seem like Oswald, they didn't tell him about like the last step or whatever. I think they must have told him like, okay, like I don't know if he even was like in the book depository like they say he was, but um, he certainly was shocked when he saw JD tipped it. Like he didn't expect that, him yelling, "I'm a patsy." That was not the plan. Um, so we don't really know all those last details, but they must have had like the last step must have been they must have had plans for that without Oswald's compliance, right? Hmm. Yeah, of course Castro didn't do it. I mean, I think Sheehan has it. I think Sheehan's right. I think Sheehan is researched this. He's interviewed all these fucking Cuban psychos too. Like during the Iran Contra stuff, he had subpoenas to fucking dig deep on this. And yeah, I think he got access to these guys. You know, it's like I say about UFOs and communism. It's like the I feel like communists are in a specific, like the convergence of influences puts us in a unique place to be able to truly evaluate this stuff, right? Um, the NHI stuff. Like I think the same thing with Sheehan being who he is and having the access that he had puts him in that you know, in a perfect position to put these pieces together. I think that's the main issue. I think that's what it was people say like, oh, Dulles was mad. I don't think that. I mean, he was mad, but not like they wouldn't have assassinated him just because Dulles was mad about getting fired, right? I don't think that is it. I think it was much more about them being scared that Kennedy was out of pocket, right? That he was going to do some sort of peace deal. Um, you know, not because he was a communist, because he wasn't a communist, right? He's just like didn't want to burn the world down and do the Cold War. I mean, that that's he thought the Cold War was going to be a massive waste of money and energy, and you know, he was right. What else do we have? Some tunes on. JM Wave. Okay. That's the base in Miami, right? The CIA base. Sao Paulo. Contact station on arrival. Yeah. See what I mean? Like this stuff, like, and I think, by the way, like Trump could have manicured this, right? He could have pruned this down and selectively release these documents. I think releasing this big data dump was intentional. Yeah, like I said, usually when people talk about distractions, they're being dumbasses. But this instance, I think this is a distraction, and we're I'm not saying we're falling for it, but people are falling for it. Not even falling for it. It's just I think he wanted the heat off of him because MAGA people were pissed off about Israel, right? In Yemen. No, of course there's no way to know, but I mean, like I said, if they have information about Angleton, the Angleton files in here, that's about as sensitive as you can get. Still, to this day. I think it's a real nice, like, backhanded fucking, like, because I think Trump, I think Biden is a genuine committed Zionist. I think Trump doesn't fucking really, I think he is in the sense that it's lucrative, right? Not that he cares about Greater Israel or whatever. And I think he resents having to take orders from them, right? So, if this reveals what I think it's going to reveal, that's going to be a nice fuck you to the Israelis while still ostensibly doing everything they ask him, Oh my god, dude. They don't. I mean, I don't know, Judge Napolitano? Starters, Like, fucking, I'm sure RFK has people. And staff. Rabbi Shmuley. Kanye. And trunk operation. Pressure was exerted by higher authority to consider a proposal for an on-island operation to split the Castro regime. I don't know about Roger Stone. I think he's the one who's going to try to spin this as some sort of anti-China thing. Like I said, Just be careful for that. You know, if people are like genuinely reading the information, that's one thing. But like, people like that are going to try to tell you this proves that fucking communists did it or something. You know, we'll fall for that. Oh, I mean, he's not going to burn them. That's what I mean. No, yeah. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's his way. It's like a backhanded fucking middle finger to them. So he gets to keep acting like he's a good little soldier while secretly fucking throwing massive amounts of shade on them. You know? Mm. Mm. Kind of like Trump Gaza, you know? Like John S. Warner. You know, that's like a backhanded fucking, you know, you guys can't handle your business. I'm going to take it and turn it into a fucking, you know, resort. You guys suck so bad at it. Look, oh, you were worried about those files? Oh, I didn't know that Israel cared about these. Why would Israel care about the JFK files? Something like that, you know? The invisible demand curve for kosher anal lubes. Yeah. Mm. Like I said, we already know everything that happened here. This is not. I think most of this is going to be obfuscation. And I think they know that too, right? I think that's the other thing. Even if you read every document in here, you're not going to be able to put the pieces together unless you have fucking prior knowledge. There's not going to be a document that says, like, here's how we're going to kill Kennedy, you know? It's just bits and pieces of, like, incriminating evidence at best, if it's even in here, which, you know, no reason I'm convinced that it is. Like I said, I just think that if they're putting out the Angleton stuff, I would say that would be more sensitive than the, you know, defector program, for instance, you know? You get one more chance to apologize for calling me a Nazi on national TV. Mm. Um. Mm. I don't know what this is. George Ladner. I mean, maybe there's some stuff, like, there's probably some stuff in here about the cover up. I feel like that's probably where we'll find the more incriminating stuff. You know, about all those mysterious deaths. You know, mysterious. What's her name? You know, the journalist. God, I always forget her name. She was based. She talked about JFK and UFOs. I always forget her name though. God, button. Mm. Okay, come on. Let me get one good file. We gotta look at that pyramid thing, man. That shit is wild. Okay, let's look at that real quick. Maybe we'll come back to this. Mm. Is this it? So they didn't need permission to do this, right? That's the thing. Because they did it all from satellites, right? So they didn't need to get, you know, Zahi didn't have to sign off on this.
A recent press release.
That's not it. Yeah, I was looking, that ancient architects guy, the big time debunker, he had a video from last month that was all about this pyramid, and it was all like, oh, it's probably just nothing inside, just limestone blocks. Uh, you know, just, you know. Skywatcher's hiring. Where did I put that? Where I can find it. This thing. This shit.
Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, involved in radar and remote sensing research with the University of Strathclyde, published peer-reviewed research in 2022 via MDPI entitled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Undiscovered High-Resolution Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research was conducted using SAR data, synthetic aperture radar, along with proprietary software developed by Filippo Biondi that transforms the radar signals into phononic information, which allows for the detection of millimetric vibrations. This cutting-edge technology is capable of revealing underground structures invisible to traditional methods.
So they already validated the method in the Great Pyramid, right? They've already basically said this, you know, like this is good science, right? So now when they do the same thing to the second pyramid, they're not going to be able to, debunkers are not going to have an excuse.
And revealed internal structures never seen before. Having established their expertise in using SAR to explore pyramid structures non-invasively, a recent press release on their current project was released last Saturday. This March 15th press release summarized the key findings in the team's research of the second largest pyramid of the Giza Plateau, known as the Khafre Pyramid. And what they found was astonishing. The analysis of dozens of tomographic SAR images obtained from different angles enabled the 3D reconstruction of inside the pyramid of Khafre and deep beneath the surface of the plateau. Near the base of the pyramid, 5 identical structures are seen, connected by geometric pathways. Inside each of these are 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. Below these 5 structures are 8 cylindrical structures, which appear to be vertical wells, hollow inside, and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. These 8 vertically aligned cylindrical structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they all merge into 2 large cubic structures, measuring approximately 80 meters per side. The entire structure extends approximately 2 kilometers beneath the surface and extends beneath all 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Mainstream.
Remember what we learned last night, right? The deepest dumb in America that we know about, right, is 4,000 feet deep. So this would be like, you know, twice as deep, basically.
Tells us that the Giza pyramids were tombs for pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure,
Did
and
you
that they
just
were
fucking
built
see
around
that thing?
2500 BC.
Did you just see that diagram? Are you kidding me? Look. I don't know what this does, but I imagine that's pretty fucking important. Like, look at that. That's unbelievable. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's something. Like, the wheels within wheels structure of it is, I think, very intriguing. And it goes, the bottom structure goes beneath all three of them too. Yeah, battery, or I don't know about battery, but it looks like, I don't know, maybe that's a cheap manufacturer, you know? And I want to hear Grenier talk about it, because Grenier will have a theory for this, I'm sure. Because this aligns with his existing theory. Because I don't think this really doesn't really bode well for Dunn's theory. But I think Grenier will probably have something interesting to say here. Yeah. Yeah. The Egyptians kept track of all the renovations they did, all the work they've made when they made monuments. They wrote it all down. But somehow the pyramids, no documentation of anything.
Ranged in two parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they all merge into two large cubic structures, measuring approximately 80 meters per side. The entire structure extends approximately 2 kilometers.
I saw debunkers trying to say that shit. Those are not fucking foundations, right? You don't have foundations that deep, and they're hollow, right? Those are not like supporting structures. That's something different, you know? Like, yeah.
Beneath the surface, and extends beneath all three pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Mainstream Egyptology tells us that the Giza pyramids were tombs for pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, and that they were built around 2500 BC using ramps, sledges, and levers. But the redundant mathematics in their construction, which include pi, the golden ratio, and the speed of light, along with the testimony of today's expert architects, suggests that the official story does not hold up. The massive underground structure revealed by the recent SAR data shows what appears to be a mechanical or functional system, and this has been hypothesized in the past. Nikola Tesla believed that the pyramids could harness Earth's natural frequencies.
Oh my God,
this arguably inspired his experiments in wireless energy transmission and scalar waves. In the Giza power plant, Christopher Dunn argued that the Great Pyramid was a power-generating machine using resonant and acoustic forces to convert mechanical stress into electricity. In the Giza Death Star, Joseph Farrell proposed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a weapon of mass destruction using a type of physics that he calls paleophysics to focus energy as a scalar weapon. The cylindrical wells could be conduits for energy or sound waves, and the cubic structures might serve as energy storage or stabilization units, akin to components in a large-scale weapon or generator. And the detection of vibrations in the pyramid's internal structures reflects all of these ideas. The Khafre project hopes to plan an excavation in order to discover more about this underground structure, but history shows that this will be very difficult to get approval for. Greg Reese reporting.
Yeah. The Reese report.
The Reese report is now fully funded.
Okay. Yeah. It looks like it's like a you know, like what are they called? Like a stellar engine type thing, like some sort of like planetary scale, like, you know, like what if it was some sort of way to like move the planet into different orbits, you know, like if it was able to generate some degree of thrust, you know, like over long periods, you know, like could they change the orbit of the Earth in like 20 years or whatever, just like steadily fucking pushing. Like what if it like chopped up fucking sand or whatever and spit it out the back somehow, you know, like those chutes inside the Great Pyramid. Like the fact that they're all connected underground, I think maybe is a clue, you know. Um, like maybe the one pyramid did something and the other one did something complementary, kind of thing. But they're there's definitely a device though, right? I don't think you can continue to say it's a tomb, you know? Like that makes no sense. Like, and it's like you might have like a couple meters down, you know. Think about like the World Trade Center, you know. It's like what's it like 3 or 4 stories down the foundations go, you know, and that's like the ocean is down there, right? For this to go 2 kilometers deep, 2 kilometers deep is not like a foundational structure. That's something different, right? It makes me think of that Karahora, that site in Eastern Europe, right? That Dan Sissoko did a video about last week, where it's just like that long crevice. I mean, it makes me think about that. I mean, people have theorized before Tesla. I hate to cite Tesla because that's like the most bad conspiracy theories always cite Tesla, but like, yeah, like it somehow was able to. I don't. We got to see what's below the third pyramid now, right? Like, yeah, like it somehow like ground up material. Like the one pyramid was like produced the energy, and then the other one like gathered materials, and then the Great Pyramid, those little fucking exit shafts, like those look like thrusters, maybe something like that. Um, or maybe it's like some sort of like resonance generator thing to like control the moon somehow. Um, I don't really think it's a power plant though. Like I don't think they were creating energy for consumer use. You know, like I don't think ancient Egyptians had light switches and stuff, right? I think if it was a power generator, it was for some large scale demand. You know, um, hmm. But like I said, like the reason this was even allowed to happen is because they didn't need to get Egyptologists' permission. Egyptologists, they don't give you permission to do something if they think there's a likelihood you'll find something incredible, right? Like, they've had that ground penetrating radar for years now that shows there's a fucking void beneath the Sphinx Paul, right? Again, where people have been saying for thousands of years, there's a library down there, right? They did the ground penetrating radar and show that there's a giant vacant, void down there. Of course, they didn't like look into it, right? All you would need to, and like they would say, oh, we didn't want to damage it. Yeah. You would just need to send a fucking fiber optic cable down there and look around. That's it, right? Same thing here. You could just dig like a tiny hole like next to it, and then peek over. They, but if you had access to that site with the giant plateau with all these lower levels that are just completely undocumented, right? And you wouldn't, I mean, I would be begging archaeologists to come explore that, you know, the lower levels there, like the Osiris shaft and all, you know. Um, I mean, there's also the idea of like a planetary scale energy system, like like the pyramids around the world are different nodes on the system, you know. Uh, the ancient horrors buried underneath the pyramids. I mean, I don't think it's that though. Yeah, I look, the structure, the way it's like maybe there is a demon down there or whatever, but like what are those hollow tubes? So it's hollow tubes, right? These 650-meter long tubes, and they are surrounded. First of all, it's metal, right? Which is already incredible because there's no fucking there's no metal anywhere over there. It's got these, so it's wrapped like a candy cane, like with more hollow tubes, right? So again, wheels within wheels, right? Which I think that is really intriguing. Um, I think the structure of that, like the hollow tube with the thinner hollow tube wrapping it, candy stripes, whatever that's called, going up the side of it. The fact that those are both hollow is incredibly important, I think, right? Um, yeah, the Anunnaki domes. Yeah, what if the Anunnaki are still down there? You'd be like, fucking shut the door. Shut the door. Oh, it's so bright. Oh, shut the door. Turn the light out. Um, yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like the ratios and the diameter and um the way that like the golden ratio and pi and speed of light are all encoded in the design. I think that's important too for some reason. Like, and the alignments and all. Yeah, it does kind of seem like it's a planetary wide system that's like, you know, their origin is there and it disseminates throughout the whole planet, like, yeah, I mean, come on, dude, what the fuck is that, dude? I don't know what the debunkers are gonna say, but I mean, this is a fuck game changer, man. What's this? 0 point energy. It's like an invisible energy everywhere in space. It's what powers UFOs and stories. We can't see it, but experiments like the Casimir effect show it's real. It's a clean energy source, like tapping into the universe's battery. You could use things like magnets or special tiny tech to get this energy out. Space isn't empty. It's full of this energy we can use. That's true. I don't know if it's that easy, though. Built by an unknown civilization 12,000 years ago, and the purpose of them was to detect a cataclysmic event, 104-degree true polar wander, and prevent the event using technology within it, which has been totally robbed if possible. It's interesting. Ethical skeptic. Oh, God. Flinders Petrie. Specially constructed tool called a meridian indicator to measure the angles of the air shafts in the Great Pyramid. Okay. Copper cables. Yeah, that's what Zahi got caught stealing. These copper cables. Ionospheric lens. What? Early Holocene stabilization. Meltwater Pulse 1A. Göbekli Tepe Pillar 43. Huda Poly Geomagnetic Excursion Event 18.9 thousand years ago. Younger Dryas Major Cooling Period. Meltwater Pulse 1B. Solon says the destruction of Atlantis. Gothenburg Geomagnetic Excursion Event. Karahan Tepe Rehabilitation. So Pillar 43 was made 17,000 years ago, and the rest of it was made 11,000 years ago? I guess I'd buy that. Meltwater Pulse 1B. Meltwater Pulse 1B. Giza Pyramids and Sphinx built right here. 11,500 years ago. Agriculture, irrigation. Okay. Holocene climate optimum. Semi-nomadic era. So after the Younger Dryas. A minor cooling period. I mean, who lives here then, though? Atlanteans, I guess? Right. Egypt, 4th Dynasty. Gosh, geomagnetic excursion. I don't know, bro. I don't think this is I don't think this works. Like, the idea that we, like, because first of all, you only really have it documented this one time, right? This is that you don't have any population decline here. You don't have that. That's not documented anywhere. I mean, maybe, right? But, you know, I think the population was so small back then, it's hard to tell. I mean, maybe it happened, right? But I don't think we have any evidence of that. So you have this geomagnetic excursion 4,500 years ago, and there was a population drop off. That's true. But, like, to say that because it happened to the fucking caveman in the semi-nomadic era, it's definitely going to happen to us, I don't think that's the correct analysis. Like, even if we're due for one of these excursions, I think we'd be better able to mitigate it. 11,340 years, they said there had arisen no god in human form, nor even before that time or afterwards. Among the remaining kings who arise in Egypt, did they report that anything of that kind had come to pass. And this time they said that the sun had moved 4 times from his accustomed place of rising, and where he now sets he had there twice had the rising, and in the place from whence he now rises he had twice had his setting. What? I don't know. Maybe we should check out this ethical skeptic guy. This doesn't mean it was built on top of something else. It looks like a mechanic. It looks like a device of some sort, right? I don't know. I think it's it's some sort of mechanism, you know? I don't know what exactly, but it does something. right? And probably something fucking massive. What is this? Imagine being the guy who came up with this fucking this hook. Wait, let me do it.
The alliance unraveled. Alien. 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 Alien.
The New York Times is one of the most
It's too loud.
According to a recent press release, the Khafre
I
pyramid,
can't deal with this girl's voice.
is the tip of a very large iceberg. So there was a big press release that came out of Italy,
I need
made by
the
Grad,
subtitles.
Armando Lei and Filippo Biondi.
Yeah.
So this is a model of what they
I can't understand a word she's saying.
According to a recent press release,
Yeah, right?
pyramid
It's a good summary. Yeah. What if it was like massive subwoofers? You know, those kilometer-long subwoofers. I mean, you could fucking get some bass with that shit, though. Like, you could somehow rock that bottom thing. Like, what if it was like, you like wobbled the two, there's like the two cubes down there, and you could like bang them into each other, like that. I mean, wow. Raw rave? Yeah, the rave to end all raves.
is the tip of a very large iceberg. So there was a big press release that came out of Italy, made
You
by
could probably fucking move the planet
Armando
just
Lei
by doing
and
that.
Filippo Biondi. So this is a model of what they found, and you can see a structure within the Khafre pyramid.
Maybe that?
And then the
Like,
amazing thing is you can
or
see
maybe
these
they-
structures that go down
like pistons?
deep into the earth.
like
So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the information that's been released so far.
Oh, plus there's these things on top, right? Turn up the bass. Dude, now it thinks I like this music. It's like, oh, here you go. Here's some Borgor. Alright, fine. This is as quiet as it gets, though. No, it looks like maybe they had to spin them, like they were rotating somehow, or revolving. Those things on the top are part of it, though. Like
Apparently there's going to be a lot
the
more
so-called
of this
relieving
bit.
chambers. These are not the relieving. Like there's one of these in the Great Pyramid, right? And it's it's really incredible. Those are like 80-ton stones that had to and lift it. Even if they built the thing with ramps, they still had to lift that part, right? They had to somehow lift that at some point. So they had to have a crane able to lift at least that much, like 100 tons. This definitely does something, though. I don't know what exactly, but it does something. The fact that these are here in both pyramids that's a clue. I mean, that looks like some sort of like muffler or like like tamper, like a capo or something. Or maybe it's or maybe it's something to do with the gases. Like maybe it can funnel, maybe it like can put somehow like consolidates oxygen at high oxygen content or something like that. Or um, water vapor somehow, maybe something. Or it's for the sound. Yeah, I think Grinier's right, man. I think it's a massive chi producer. I really do. I mean, look at that. I think I think it has other stuff too, but yeah, I think you seal it up real nice and you get those fucking oh, maybe they bring water up and down. Maybe they're somehow they're connected to the water table, like those big cubes are like reservoirs, right? And they can like suck in water, and then these things kind of use it to fucking pump water up and down for some reason. Like, again, we'll have to watch Grenier explain the details of his fucking, of how he envisioned it. But yeah, I guarantee you he can work with this. He can work this into his explanation because this is fucking perfect for him. Like I'm not sure how. Like it looks like it just amplifies whatever process I think he identified in the Great Pyramid. I think these are probably amplify it in some way. Like there's 5 relieving chambers in this pyramid versus 1 in the Great Pyramid. Like perhaps this is like a second iteration of the Great Pyramid. Like the Great Pyramid, like they only knew how to do it that way, so they were kind of limited. But when they made this one, they had options because they knew how to do it now. So they were able to build this bottom like amplificate, like Starship and Super Heavy, right? Like the first one is just the regular version, and then this one has the boosters below. You um, mm, a tomb? You, you don't believe that, do you? Mm, yeah.
Soon. But we'll just look at what we know so far. And I got this from Trevor Grassi's Facebook page. So thank you, Trevor. Much appreciated for keeping everybody up to date. So here's what we know so far. And we're getting this information from the abstract that was released on the 16th of March. research. Quote, this abstract summarizes the key points of our research, which aimed to clarify the possible hidden structures inside the second pyramid of the Giza Plateau, known as the Khafre pyramid. This research was conducted using non-invasive techniques based on publicly available synthetic aperture radar, i.e. SAR, data, provided as open source by Capella Space and Umbra, and there's some websites associated with that. It then goes on to describe the first step that was taken before this, which was the project to scan the Khufu pyramid and a few of the results of that. In fact, I did an episode on this when the information came out, and I've since updated it. So you'll see on my channel there's a fairly recent version of that as well. So let's just keep looking at what the new stuff is. The tomographical images obtained from the satellite data processing immediately highlighted the presence of 5 structures located at the center of the pyramid above Belzoni's chamber, which contained a presumed sarcophagus, mistakenly believed to be the pharaoh's tomb. The abstract paper then goes on to say that these structures share
That's
the
true.
same
Yeah,
shape
no, there was no
as
pressure
the
in the
so-called
Great Pyramid.
Z structure found inside the Pyramid of Khufu, above the ceiling of the so-called pharaoh's or king's chamber. The 5 Zs in the Khafre pyramid appear to be connected by geometric pathways, and alongside these structures, additional secondary structures are visible from various satellite angles, as shown in some of the tomographical images. The analysis of this data, obtained using entirely non-invasive techniques, are briefly summarized. These findings allowed us to construct a 3D model of the entire complex. The examination of dozens of tomographical images obtained from different angles using Capella Space and Umbra radars enabled a 3D reconstruction of most of the objects inside the Pyramid of Khafre. Below, we present some images from our 3D analysis. The analysis of the structures above Belzoni's chamber are intensely coloured spots which can be observed appearing in all tomographic
spoiler alert,
images
they all were.
taken from different angles corresponding to the internal artificial structures. On the next page, it says that improvements of the signal to noise ratio, revealing the internal structure of the 5 Zs, consisting of 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. So this is the raw pictures of the data that they used to create their model. Wow. And this is the model. So it reads the tomography with another cross-sectional line showing the presence of vertical structures. And if you think that was pretty mind-blowing, it then goes on to say, as observed in the 3D model,
Yeah, I
below the
I
ground
don't think
level,
it's
so
designed to be
zero of the
walked
main
around
structure,
inside of,
vertically aligned cylindrical structures extend for hundreds of meters beneath
That's
the Giza
fucking crazy.
Plateau.
That is so
Notably, 8 of these structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters,
648
merging into 2
meters.
large cubic structures measuring approximately 80 meters per side. These features are illustrated in the topographical images and models presented. The paper then adds to that with some even more interesting detail, which is that the 8 cylindrical structures that have been identified in the tomographical image appear as vertical wells, which are hollow inside and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. It then goes on to describe the third step, which is a lot of the analysis they've done based on all.
Like, I don't know how you would use that design unless you had some reason to. Like, I don't know why, like, that, you know, like the way that's wrapped around that is got to be functional, you know.
All this data that they've collected. So they say the next phase involved analysing the tomographic data to determine the full extent of the underground structures beneath the Giza Plateau. The tomographic images clearly reveal that the structures exist beneath the plateau, extending below the pyramids of Khafre, Khufu, and Menkaure, for approximately 2 kilometers below ground. So mind-blowing as all that is, there's still more to come, and this is just a little bit of the information that they have shared with us so far. So we can look forward to a lot more to come out fairly soon, and I will keep you posted. In the meantime, this is a look at some of the models and some of the data.
With that,
Oops.
According to a recent
Is that the one we just saw?
press release, the Khafre Pyramid, is the tip of a very large iceberg. So there was a big press release that came out of Italy, made
I guess she doesn't have anything else about it. I guess this from 2 weeks ago. We gotta watch some of this. This girl's channel looks pretty good. I know about that voice though. I mean, that might be a deal breaker for me. Like looks like she's got some good content. These are some good topics. God damn it, voice. Good for her. Okay. Let's see. It's just that one. Let's see. The past month. A huge city discovered below Giza, the halls of Amenti. Oh. What? How'd she get down there?
You think there's a passage?
Yes. Well, you can see that this was
Yes, it's like it's just fitted right in there.
never more city. This underground here, madam, about 100 meter ground. Ground underground here,
How deep?
about 100 meter ground.
100 meters.
Somebody has same thing, you know.
Where does it go?
On the ground. There, big city.
Big city? Oh, this is incredible.
The same part. Here, come on, come on.
Okay.
They had together for not stopping the protest. Let me see. Yeah, I don't really trust Khrushchev, you know.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is it.
Yeah, this looks pretty
This
dope.
is the entrance into the subterranean underworld.
I mean, there's that.
For centuries, legends have spoken about a vast underground network and secret knowledge hidden.
Oh, is it in the other ear? Come on, lady.
Now, cutting-edge
these two-
technology is revealing
Little
beneath the Great
renegades,
Pyramid,
huh?
where initiates undergo spiritual rebirth.
Man,
Symbolizing
come the fuck
transcendence and
on. I'm not
enlightenment,
putting my
the
headphones
halls
on.
represent a bridge between the material and spiritual reality, guiding seekers on a path to divine wisdom and ascension.
Kidding me.
I will now directly quote from a post written by Armando May, a member of the Khafre Project.
I
The
mean, she doesn't even know
cooperation
what we're
between the
talking about,
Khafre
though.
Research
Like,
Project, SAR
this is just
Technology,
something.
and
This
Capella
is like some crank shit. Oh no, here, no, this is it. No, okay, yeah, Khafre Research Project. Fuck yeah, all right, yeah. She got down there already, and woof, cool. I don't know about no city, but I think yeah, there's something down there.
Welcome back. I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys.
What is
If
that
you have not seen
accent?
yet, my husband, Jeffrey Drum, at the Land of Chems, episode 149 and Sunday site visit 94, I strongly urge you to,
Is it like
for his amazing
what?
preface and predictions on the huge announcement that is about to be released
Like
from the synthetic radar.
sometimes it sounds like Long Island, and then other times it sounds like Wisconsin, and other times it sounds like fucking like Denmark or some shit.
Doppler tomography technology team, the Khafre Project. The Khafre Project is the same team that performed the Doppler scan on the Great Pyramid of Giza, where they detected previously unknown, unexplored chambers and structures within the Great Pyramid. And now they're back, and the results will blow your mind. These scans confirm underground structures that will change history as we know it. Jeffrey provides a solid foundation of evidence supporting his predictions from previous research episodes, including maps of the underground network, in advance of the scanning results of the Giza Plateau. With all of these pieces coming together, the implications are astounding. They will reveal what they call, quote unquote, the discovery of a huge city under the pyramids, that they are describing as the legendary halls of Amenti. The Khafre Project will hold a press conference on March 15th. The Halls of Amenti are an ancient mystical realm described in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Yes.
Thoth being the ancient Egyptian deity, the ibis-headed god of wisdom and the inventor of writing, the great scribe, believed to house the Hall of Records, aka the Akashic Records, and serve
That's not
as a
the Akashic
gateway for the
Records.
enlightened beings who oversee humanity's evolution.
Akashic Records is something
Some
different.
traditions link Amenti to the Egyptian underworld, or Duat, or a subterranean chamber beneath the Great Pyramid, where initiates undergo spiritual rebirth. Symbolizing transcendence and enlightenment, the halls represent a bridge between the material and spiritual reality, guiding seekers on a path to divine wisdom and ascension. I will now directly quote from a post written by Armando May, a member of the Khafre Project. The cooperation between the Khafre Research Project SAR Technology and Capella Space has made the discovery of the legendary halls of Amenti possible. As part of the Khafre Research Project SAR Technology, these team members invite accredited journalists to a special press conference held both in person and virtually to unveil the results of a study that, from our perspective, is innovative and revolutionary. This study has redefined the boundaries of satellite data analysis and archaeological exploration. During the press conference, the structures corresponding to the mythical halls of Amenti will be unveiled for the first time. Key discoveries to be presented are identification of structures, chambers, and corridors located within the Pyramid of Khafre, the identification of extensive series of vertical shafts estimated to extend to depths of at least 1 kilometer, with each major pyramid serving as an access point to these underground systems, the discovery of vast subterranean chambers with dimensions comparable to those of the pyramids themselves. Armando goes on to state that a remarkably high correlation between the layout and characteristics of those underground chambers and the legendary halls of Amenti described in the ancient myths, such as those involving the god Thoth.
Thoth.
The event details are listed below if you'd like to attend.
Now, I will show you some
we
spectacular
should have
footage
attended.
of what we have discovered during our many expeditions exploring the Giza Plateau and its underworld.
Wow. My jaw's like still on the floor.
Yo, I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys. Today we're on the Giza Plateau on the eastern side of the Great Pyramid. We're behind G13 satellite pyramid, and we're going to explore the Isis temple and the surrounding structures. Yalvina.
And a shot of her devastatingly handsome.
Yeah, actually, that's a good call. Yeah.
Cigar smoking cameraman.
It's to keep you out.
Holy shit.
Wow. Do you see an opening down there?
I can see the bottom.
They're doing what I wanted to do.
I would say
like,
that's probably 60 feet.
Just like renegade style, like run in, slip under the fence.
Is it on?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that? On the side? To the right?
Right, right there?
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like a pipe.
Does look like a piece of metal. Also looks like on the northern side down there that there's an inlet down into this pit. So on this side.
Oh yeah, I see.
I think it does look like a piece of metal there on the side, about 10 feet down.
And there's no conventional explanation for these shafts.
It'd be cool if they had to defeat Flint Dibble to get down there. Hmm.
But it has since eroded out, leaving these kind of rounded edges around the side. Looks very much like the inside of the vent.
Sandstorm.
Okay. Yeah, they're super deep.
I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odyssey.
Lex Livy.
We're back on the Giza Plateau today.
Like both of these channels, I think they have really interesting concept. Both of their voices are just like, you never listened to yourself talk before. Like, I mean, I know it's hard to hear your own voice, but like you got to record it and listen to what it sounds like. Yeah, yeah, right. The way he's like, he's like, technically not in charge anymore. And he's like the guy behind the guy. Yeah. Like you think you're done after you defeat whoever the current guy is. And then you're like, yeah, I won. And then Zahi fucking, comes down in a Vimana. That'd be fun. That'd be pretty cool. What was that documentary we watched that had all the information about the measurement, that French one? Where she concluded that it was like it was a giant processional clock. The plateau was. I mean, I guess this kind of fits with that. Like, yeah, what if those are the gears? Yeah, like what if it is? Oh God, yeah. What if that's? Wow. Wait a minute. Yeah. What if that's some sort of like planetary, like the reset button on the planet, right? Is like that thing somehow triggers a calamity, either like like a pole shift, or like some sort of like like geomagnetic excursion type thing. Like it's on a timer. Mm, that would explain why. Oh, Revelations of the Pyramids. That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, but was all that stuff about the meter, right? Doesn't the meter, the modern meter, show up in the pyramids? Again, like those H blocks in Pumapuku. Those are a meter by a meter by a meter. Which that's not. But I remember that in that Revelations of the Pyramids, the way that they described it, it was like it was evident that they were using the meter because they saw the ratio they were using in the other rooms or the other whatevers. Like the measurements were done in like a certain ratio, like 3 to 1 or whatever. So it wasn't a coincidence that they were using meters. Like you could say, oh, that's just a coincidence or whatever. No, but it was in the ratios of the other rooms. Like the measurements were done in such a way where like you knew it was the meter because you had the other number that gave you, like say it was algebra or whatever. Like you had X already, so you knew it was a meter.
We're gonna take a walk towards Menkara and see what we find.
Take a walk towards Menkara?
Oh
my god, it's the most bizarre accent.
trial passages.
Yeah, it's 1/36,000th, right? Density of water. I thought it was like 1/36,000th of the circumference.
It opens up at the end.
Wow.
It's incredibly eroding.
Are you allowed down there? Yeah, I've never actually watched this lady's videos, but judging by the thumbnails, they're all like seem to be them exploring places without permission.
You can see more about this on G's channel, The Land of Chem.
The Land of Chem. Oh, it's them, huh?
Alright, I have my torch. Let's take a look. Oh, sure. Look at that. Oh, to the left it goes down even further.
It'd be crazy if a, toad came out and bit her hand off.
Wow.
Or the other one of the crocodile gods, whatever his name was.
That's pretty amazing. Let's take a look in the next one. This. Full of trash.
Yeah, they're fucking trashing all these places.
Side, like
all the fucking tourists.
There's a horizontal passage.
So this is the top side of these structures here. All of these are structures that are cut into the bedrock here. And we're on the top side looking down into these structures.
Yeah, there's all this stuff going on the plateau that nobody has even, people don't even know about. It's like all these random holes and shit. There's got to be some pattern to them that we just don't know. Like, look at that. Like weird fucking subterranean passageways.
To be extremely careful where you step.
Normally when you build a building, or a monument, the foundations are not somewhere where you like hang out. You don't need to have access to the foundations of your building, Like just the fact that they have like a means of accessing the very, very bottom down there.
The number of these wall chests is
I think it says a lot, right?
I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys. Today we're back on the Giza Plateau. We're on the eastern face.
Talk differently.
And we're going to investigate the trial passage.
Trial passages. Jeez. Mm. Trial passageways, is that because the official theory is that they had to dig tunnels because they didn't know what they were doing and they had to like start over again, right? Like, I think that's the official story for the Great Pyramid, right? The King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber, so called. Um, it is like the one of them was like they screwed up and they had to redo it, and the other one supposedly. Like, I think that's the official story behind the Great Pyramid is that the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber, it's just the chamber for the one, but it's um, because they messed something up and they had to redo it. Or is that the entranceway? Some huge aspect of the Great Pyramid is officially regarded as like a fuck up that they had to, or maybe it was the bottom. Something to do, yeah. I think that's it. I think it's the bottom. Something down around the bottom. They supposedly fucked up and had to like recarve. It's just like the magic bullet, man. It's like when these like shaky establishment stories, nobody ever talks about the aspects of it that are so far fetched, right? They always talk about stuff that like is plausible, you know. Like, given the context of the pyramid, given the mastabas and all in the area, it's completely plausible that these are tombs. Until you, like, actually look at it. You know, just seeing the shape of it, where it is, you're like, oh yeah, that could be a tomb. Because it's, like, right near where all the other tombs are. Yeah. It's not a tumba. She looks 22 in some shots and, like, 65 in other ones. What the fuck is all that for? That's what I'm saying, man. Crazy.
My husband Jeffrey Drum from the land of Chem.
Oh, really?
For today.
That guy?
Would you?
Actually perfect out here right now.
Hey.
That guy sucks.
Sadiqis.
1 year we stood. 1 minute take.
No.
Goes all the way back towards the Great Pyramid, eastern face.
People like that land of Chem guy. I feel like he's fucking. I don't think that's it. I thought you were going to fucking Khafre. I want to see these.
I'm Lex Levy, and this is Ancient Odysseys. Today we're back on the Giza Plateau, and we're investigating the southern side of the cosmos.
Oh, she just like must make like TikToks or whatever, huh? What is that for? The sound of her footsteps. She sounds like a duck. Oh, there's some hieroglyphs.
I'm gonna try to decipher these hieroglyphics later on. Oh my gosh.
God damn, dude. What do you think went on in there? You should go in there, lady. We had so many ibises up in there. 22 and 65. Maybe not 22 and 52. It's probably more accurate.
All right, we found this passageway into the bedrock underneath the central pyramid.
Probably connects down into this one over here.
Okay, show me again.
It's like this guy's theory. He's the one who says that it was a giant, like, industrial scale chemical processing facility, like the whole plateau was. Like they were, you know, they were like large scale, like they were making like fertilizers or something, supposedly. Is this guy's theory? Like it was a giant phosphorus plant, which I don't think so. I think the Nile was always a bountiful, or you know, modern times, or you know,
all right,
the fucking Holocene, right? Like Holocene, whatever. The scene that we're in now. Post Ice Age, it was a you know, desert all around except for the Nile Valley. It was like green and lush. So quack, 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 quack. I don't think they needed to build the Great Pyramid in order to make phosphorus. You know, that doesn't really. Like, I would believe that they built maybe like a smaller structure for it, but like I don't think their needs were such that like they would need to devote like decades of like you know, thousands of people working on this shit for decades to make a giant fertilizer manufacturing plant. I feel like you would find something else before you did all that. You know, you'd find how to fucking, you know, get crops to grow right.
We're here exploring the pyramid of Kenkawas.
For some reason people like this guy's. I think it's because it's like contrarian. You know, they can be like against the official narrative, but it's like the geopolymer guys. You know. It's like when you're too contrarian to accept the, you know, like the dominant alternative theory. Like, you know, you're into alt history because you're fucking contrarian. Did you see that David Shore tweet the other day where he was talking like, oh, like people to the left of the Democrats, they're all just like, you know, like they have a psychological profile for contrarianism or something, so they're always going to reject whatever you offer them, basically. It's some way to like rationalize like not appealing to the base of the Democratic Party, right? Like, oh, those people, they just have brain worms. Sorry, you can't ever convince them. It's like basically the premise with like Yemen. It's like, oh yeah, no, we couldn't possibly like, you know, use our influence to like pressure Israel to accept the terms of the ceasefire they already agreed to. No, we just need to you know, you know, slaughter the entire peninsula. Like, it'll be easier to defeat the fucking Ansar Allah, like, than you know, use any leverage at all in Israel.
Here's the opening.
breathing.
And I've done full research on anti-imperialist and the submarine structure.
How do you measure the sun's weight? Isn't it constantly changing?
Iron oxide. Right here. Emanating directly into the top of this area. And it looks like it actually runs down the wall here. From here.
Wow.
Alright.
What about this one?
Yeah. Is this the workers' village? Yeah, Pyramid Builders Cemetery. Yeah. Yeah, this is what Zahia showed Mr. Beast, like it was some sort of like debunk. Like, look, they put a cemetery right there.
Definitely caves and tunnels that go back into this thing.
Wow. Look at that. That's neat. What the fuck? What is that for? Whoa. Spooky. Looks like crystal ball.
I have a flashlight.
Yeah, I mean that would jive with what I was just saying about you know, like it was a timer, you know, to like resurface.
There's one on the right too. I don't know how deep.
You know,
There's
like
a bunch.
every 10,000 years it like resets the earth. There's like a countdown clock. You know, like when the sun weight got to a certain point, it went off. I mean, if that was true, we would have already disabled it, I'm sure. You know.
Can I hop down there?
No.
Oh wow. God, what is that for?
What was found in here?
Like everywhere they look.
Small statues for the owner of the tomb. That's
interesting.
That might be a solution.
Oh, yeah.
Huh. It's the one to come after all.
Yeah. Interesting.
Fucking necktie.
There's so much granite around here, right? We're exploring on top of Gebel Gibli now. We have limited time. Oh, I believe these are the shafts we saw on Google Earth. Oh, this is incredible.
Footage
Oh, babe.
from that. Go check out my wife Alexa's channel, Ancient Odysseys. And of course, here at the top of this
My
mountain,
wife Alexa. She calls herself
another
Lexi.
huge shaft that has that same vertical feature here.
Or Lex. What was it? Lex
that we
Livy?
highlighted on our
Something?
last expedition to explore the causeway.
Like a comic book character name.
And this definitely continues back in this direction. It may go in all four directions. This is a huge shaft.
Yeah, this guy sucks.
That, in my opinion, is definitely not a park. And you can see here.
She needs to ditch this guy and marry another 52-year-old. Or 25-year-old.
That vertical feature over here. Hey, be very careful, please.
I will.
Be very careful,
You've
please.
seen this before.
Alright, so I would say for sure that this is definitely not the same part. Here, come on, come on.
Okay.
He just annoys me because he has his alternative theory that I don't agree with, and he tries to, like, squeeze every piece of evidence he finds into his alternative theory. So he annoys me. This guy ain't getting any of our chi when we turn the machine back on.
Man, this is an area of particular interest that I wish we could.
You know, what if it's like a hatchery for baby gold? Shark teeth?
And if you crouch down,
Was there water in there? Oh,
and
wow.
look back here into the northwestern corner.
Where's this? Ultrasonic beam?
The other constructions in Egypt. Andesite has an extremely high content of microcrystalline quartz. So we've already been talking about the function of quartz for ultrasound. Again, the finer the particles, the
Same
higher
fucking thing.
concentration
Oh,
of quartz you can get
quartz.
in the material, the more effective it is for producing ultrasonic vibrations.
This guy, this...
This container is black basalt. And we'll see that same green material
It's all like technobabble.
inside of here. If you guys look in here, you can see some green ooze down in there.
Yeah. Like, this guy's somehow more annoying than geopolymer guys.
Dacite. Correct.
Every time I write something, my autocorrect immediately.
That's true. My autocorrect always never recognizes dacite.
All right, so now you're in the subterranean third
Big-eyed
and
bunker.
lowest chamber of the Osiris shaft. And here in the center is the black granite container. And there's a rectangular housing that goes around the container in the center. You can see the lid here has been lifted up and just moved over to the side, so that's why it's off at a diagonal here. In the corner, you can see the remains of the 4 pillars that once surrounded the central container. And if you crouch down and look back here into the northwestern corner, you can see the tunnel that I was discussing in the
Isn't that
previous episode
flooded? I
regarding
can't
the
tell what's
Osiris
going on
shaft.
there. I know,
Tunnel
man.
system.
The necktie? Yeah.
And you can look and see how crystal clear all this water is.
Okay, yeah, there's
If there
water.
wasn't this debris on the surface, I mean, it would just be immaculately clear. So this is an indication of a subterranean water source, an independent aquifer directly below the structure that is not tapped into the Nile, because the water in here does not fluctuate. We know the Nile River isn't anywhere close to this structure now. So the water source underneath this structure is completely an independent and enclosed aquifer.
I don't know if I can reach the tunnel.
So back in that corner is the tunnel system that I showed in the previous episode that was excavated by the joint team between the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities and the Japanese.
You know
City
shit's
Museum.
fucking wild when they flood it, you
Robot.
know? They won't even let you fucking sniff it. Yeah. When they absolutely couldn't get it debunked, they couldn't, you know. Right. Whatever. To be continued.
So just popular publications in the world and the paper of record for the United States. It's also run. The New York Times is one of the most popular publications in the world and the paper of record for the United States. It's also run cover for Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. It's done this with things like laundering atrocity propaganda, passively framing Israel's
you
war
in the
crimes,
mindset of
deliberately
Israel.
avoiding the use of crucial descriptive